But the next speaker we have is Shelley Taylor-Smith. Now, I met Shelley and heard her talk over in Thailand about 2 years ago, say, give or take. And it was one of those talks that I actually got tingles. You know, once you've been around and you've been to as many rooms as I have and you've attended as many conferences as I have, your expectations sort of go, okay, yep, all right, let's do this, let's see how we go. But I actually sat there in awe of Shelley Taylor-Smith. What is such a wonderful story and an inspirational person. I mean, anybody who can swim 42 kilometres is just up there in my book. I'd be lucky to get to one end of a pool without touching the floor first. So 42 kilometres, but not only she did 42 kilometres, she was the women's world champion in a marathon for swimming. But not only was she the women's world champion, she beat the men's world champion. I mean, who does that? Nobody. That's the answer. Nobody else in this world we live in has ever done that. So if we had like a universe games, whereas like we were represented in marathon swimming by Earth, we'd probably get Shelley Taylor-Smith back 15 years ago to do it. She's an amazing person. So guys, if you all want to stand up, give her a huge round of applause because she is amazing. Shelley Taylor-Smith.
It's great to be here. I know you wish you could have been with me on many of my marathon swims, if not physically, in spirit. So there I was, Atlantic City, August 1991. I'm in 5th position. I moved to 4th, then 3rd, now 2nd, side by side with the men's world champion, Diego Degano of Argentina. He'd go ahead, I'd catch up, I'd go ahead, he'd catch back up to me. To and fro, back and forth. I'd go ahead, come on, Diego, stick with me. Nancy, my coach, hanging out of the boat would be saying, Shelley, will you just shut up and swim? The Argentinians are looking on saying, is this Aussie woman for real? 32 kilometres from the start, 3 kilometres from the finish, 6.5 hours into the marathon swim. I take a breath back. There's no Diego. Oh, shit, I'm in front. They're all after me now. I come across the finish line winning by 59 seconds. In 7 hours, 12 minutes and 30 seconds, becoming the first woman in the world ever to win a professional marathon swim against both men and women. Smashing the women's world record by 45 minutes, sorry blokes, and the boys' world record as well by 10 minutes. A shattered Diego comes over to congratulate me, gives me a kiss on each cheek and goes, Shelley, 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 do you know you're dangerous when you're wet? Have you ever thought about becoming a mother? Because I reckon you'd be good at that. I reciprocated and whispered in his ear, mate, you're dreaming. I've only just begun. And looking back on my career to standing here before you today, some of you don't know me, some of you may have heard the name. Someone came up to me just recently and said, what were you a champion in? He said, I'm sorry, I don't recognise you, but that's okay. Not many people recognise me with my clothes on. And, you know, I've been retired now since 1998, and it's just wonderful to be here. I'm so excited to be here. I would like to make an apology right now for those that, well, I'll make an apology for my passion for life because, you know, some people don't have as much energy as me. I'd like to make make an apology for speaking fast because I get really, really excited about helping other people. Who here in business loves helping people? Everybody's hand should go up, absolutely. I love helping people. But you know, it hasn't always been that way in my career where people has anybody had those problems where people didn't want to help you? Yeah. And I'd like you to just stuff and flush that jellyfish right now, okay? And you can write that down. You've got your notepad there. Stuff and flush that jellyfish right now. And as we go through, you'll understand what jellyfish are. And it's a great story, and I hope you have a giggle at it because it's a real story, a true story. And you've heard a lot of true stories in your time, haven't you? So this morning I opened up the curtains. I've been blessed. I'm living in Perth now. I lived 17 years in Sydney, and I'm back in Perth, my hometown. And when Stephen asked me to come over, and he said it was at the Novotel in Wollongong, I got really excited because I swam from Sydney to Wollongong. And yes, I swam here before I'd ever been to Wollongong by car. And you're probably thinking, why did you do that? And I'll share that with you in a little bit. But, you know, my story, and you hear about I've been labelled disabled, nothing above average, and, a fair ability. Anybody ever had that? Nothing above average? Anybody's report card say that? Or, and, you know, it's really interesting. So how does a little girl with no natural ability become a 7 times world champion? And still to this day, whatever the time is, BBC haven't run me to say another woman has achieved a #1 world ranking for men and women in the history of any sport. So how does someone, a little girl with a dream, no different than you, look at me, am I any different? I'm just a plain, ordinary human being. But there must be something extraordinary within me that enabled me when it got tough out there, and it got tough. You know those days when it gets tough and you feel like you're all alone and you're up to here and you know, save me? You know those days in work? How does someone like that go on to do something that no one else has done? There must be something in Shelley Taylor Smith, which I believe is the champion mindset. So today I want to share with you 3 of my tailor-made solutions to help you create your champion mindset. Would that be of value? Okay? Because I believe you're here to improve yourself. You're in the room, it's basically like you've come back to school, and how does that feel? Anybody feel like they're in overwhelm today? They haven't been back to school in a while? When was the last time you invested this much time in yourself? Can you remember? Or is this the first time in a long time? Raise your hand if it's the first time in a long time. And congratulations, you know, because you are valuable. You are valuable. You are here to achieve your goals. It is your birthright to achieve your goals. If there's one thing I'm committed to for you to leave here today with, is to understand that you didn't come into this world kicking and screaming to fail. Your parents didn't pick you up and go, oh, here's my little failure. Did they? And, you know, you came here to achieve success, however you define success. And there's a key element in it being successful at whatever you achieve and however you define success. There's a key thing. You've got to be prepared to do whatever it takes. And sometimes the simplest thing becomes the hardest thing. Wouldn't you agree? So, natural born champion? Or do you think I hung with a few people, some champions in my field, that brought out the best in me? Now, you're hanging rubbing shoulders with some champions these 2 days. Wouldn't you agree? Some people are coming and presenting themselves who have got the tools, the skills that you need to either utilise in your business or upskill yourself. You need to actually spend some time with someone. I call that a coach of some degree. Wouldn't you agree? Anybody been coached lately? And sometimes it's a kick in the pants, isn't it? You know? But, you know, it's like anything in life. If you're prepared to do whatever it takes, it does get easier and success will come quicker. So I won the World Championship and I'm hanging with Dawn Fraser. And I don't know about you, when I'm hanging with champions, I like to model them, right? Replicate everything they do. So I'm matching her beer for beer. That's commitment. That takes a good attitude. Wouldn't you agree? Who wants to match me beer for beer later on? Oh, I've got one on the board. Oh, good on you, mate. Okay, so the thing is that when you're hanging with people, you like them because they're what? They are like you. Wouldn't you agree? Right. So success comes with 3 essentials. Is it like looking in the mirror? I hope so. It should be. That is you. And when was the last time you got this excited about succeeding at anything in your life? And that's what I'm going to be touching on. So we're going to touch on 3 key elements: mindset, motivation, and mental toughness. Write those 3 down, the 3 M's. Within that, of the 7 tailor-made solutions, it is about creating your champion mindset. So I have 7 of them, and I'm going to go with 3 of them today, which I've chosen for you to take your business to whatever level you want to take it to, whatever the next step is. And I know you might think it's overwhelming getting all the steps from these champions these 2 days, right? So I would like to help you to understand how to narrow it down. Now, as a little girl, I used to go to bed at night with my bathers on, okay? And my mother would come in and she'd say, Shelley, take your bathers off. They're Cozzy's togs, on the East Coast, and put your pyjamas on, the ones you Nana made, you can go to sleep like a normal child. Now, my mum would leave. I had a spare pair tucked to my pillowcase, and I'd put them on, and my Nana's pyjamas, and off I'd go dreaming. My mum would be standing at the doorway going, oh my God, what am I creating? And then, also in my pillowcase was my Bible, Swimming the Shane Gould Way. Who knows who Shane Gould is? If you don't, the person next to you, slap him. One of our greatest Australians, right, who retired at 15 years of age. Amazing. Held every world record from 100 to 1500 freestyle at 15 years of age. So as I say that, I've got goosebumps, right? So when that book came out, I thought, wow, she must be doing something right. So in that book, it taught me how to think like a champion, eat like one, that my nickname was Garfield, eats anything but tin cans, and train like a champion. And that became my Bible. That book I've still got, and it's got, the doggy tags ears, it's crumpled and everything, but I still have it. I want to ask you right now, and this is a question, what is the Bible that should be with you at easy reach right now? Is it your office systems? Is it Google AdWords? What is it that you need to go to, your go-to tool in your Champion Mindset Toolkit? What is it that you need to drag out that'll get you thinking like a champion or training like one in your business? Do you understand what I'm saying? Okay? Now, it all comes down to focus. First element. So I'm sitting as Dad is jiggling his tea bag in his teacup. I am in the car ready to go. And Dad reverses out of the driveway. Cap and goggles go on. I've given up that habit. And we'd be first to the pool because I left at a certain time. Okay? And I'd go bounding through the gate with a smile on my face, and my coach would go, oh, God, here she comes. Oh, no, and she's smiling. She's still enjoying it. Oh, no, this is going to be hard work. Because at 12 years of age, I got diagnosed with a disability. And they label you. You know how they put love labels, don't they? And stuck me in a box and said I was disabled. I had one leg shorter than the other, and I literally used to drag this leg through after the other. So much so that when the starter said, take your marks, I'd be down there trying to get it together, and I'd fall in the water, last off the blocks, get to the end, tumble, turn, hit the lane rope, go, shit. Everybody says that now and then. And then, darn, as I hit the wall, and I got third and fourth, and I went to my coach. I said, Coach, will you help me? I just want to go off the blocks with everybody else. Would you stay behind me? I just want to be normal. You know that look? Oh, is it really worth it? But you know what? Like that, he said yes. I said, Coach, would you stay with me on a Saturday morning after everybody's gone home for the week, the weekend off, go home, chill? I stayed behind. I said, will you stay behind? I just want to come off the wall on that black line. Would you help me? Same thing. Oh, God, is it really worth it? But like that, he said yes. What was it that my coach saw in me that I wasn't a world champion? I didn't have massive potential. Remember, they labelled me nothing above average. What is it? The focus. This is the key thing. This is your key. Okay? And I want to give you some of your keys. What else would my coach have seen in me? Pardon? Persistence. Yep, we're going to go into that mental toughness, passion. Yep, you've got to love what you do on those days, don't you? But you've got to be able to rise above it, don't you think? On those days? Wouldn't you agree? When it's, has anybody been getting text messages about something or phone calls in your breaks about work? And you have to rise above it to walk in the door here and get back in that zone, right? Back in your zone. And that's all about focus. So I'm sitting down with my coach. We're in the World Championships getting ready to win a gold medal. I've won a few, as you know. And it was this gold medal. And marathon swimming only became an Olympic sport in 2008. So has anybody had a dream here that for a long, long time they gave up on? Anybody want to put their hand up for that? Think about that. It's really interesting what we give up on. But as we go for another goal, it pops back up because it's something that's really, really important to you. So I'm sitting down with my sports psychologist. This is the first time the sport has been in a World Championships. I've already been ranked unofficially for 3 years. And it's in my hometown. Bit of pressure? Who'd have a bit of pressure? Yeah. And everybody's saying, Shell, I hope it's a good event. I hope you put on a good show. We want to get this sport in the Olympics. That didn't happen until 2008. So I'm feeling a bit of pressure. And my coach is saying, you know, how's your focus? Anything bothering you? I said, no, bring it on. Bring it on. I'm ready. Just got to swim 25 kilometres as you do. And he said, nothing bothering you? And I said, no. You sure? Don't you love it when someone says, you're thinking, you know, you can fake it till you make it? You know, that quote? And all of a sudden, someone says, are you sure there's nothing wrong? I said, okay, those bloody jellyfish. He said, what are you talking about? I said, those big brown ones. Who knows what I'm talking about? The big brown ones, right? The tentacle's about 1 metre long, and I'm in my zone, out there swimming along, bang! Pull my bathers down, pull my jellyfish out, put everything back in, you know, pull the tentacles off, bang, there's another one. You know, I said, do you know what? They're bloody annoying. I just feel like I'm hitting my head up against the wall. And he goes, well, that's interesting. I said, no, that's not the worst one. Ever notice when you talk about a problem, another one pops up? I said, no, that's not the real problem. The real problem is the clear ones. He said, what are you talking about? I said, well, when you're out there in the middle of a championship and being a girl, they get stuck in some places in your bathers. I said, you know, and you don't have time to put your hand down and pull them out. But I said, worse than that, they sting like an electric shock over and over. Blue bottles, who knows what I'm talking about? And he you know, I love it when a psychologist rubs their hands. He goes, oh, this is really interesting. I said, no, it's not. He goes, we're going to make them your friends. I thought, this will be bloody interesting. He said, how many of these big brown ones? I said, oh, some days I can't find clear water. He said, right, this is the goal. I want you to imagine that they are your friends. They're your raving fans. They're all your supporters. You know those days when you're out there alone, Shelley? And you think, what the heck am I doing at 36 years of age in this sport? That's not even an Olympic sport. You've got no funding. You clean toilets. You're a full-time school teacher. You're cleaning toilets during the day, following your passion. What do you focus on? These are all those people out there cheering you on. I'm like, right, okay. He said, but I need to know, are you committed? I said, yeah. And he goes, no. Because I'm going to teach you a tool. And if you take this tool and you use it, I guarantee you will, if you're prepared to do whatever it takes. When was someone put you on the line last time? Might have been today. Has anybody stretched themselves today? So he says, all right, these clear ones, these blue bottles are going to be a bit tougher. I need to know, are you up for it? And I said, yes, I am. The tone, the commitment. He said, right, every time they sting you, I want you to imagine they're showing you their affection. I want you to imagine they're stinging you. They're kissing you. I said, beg pardon? Now, I don't know, have you ever been told something that's so far-fetched that you really struggle to believe it? Yeah. You know, and I'm thinking, all right, I know I'm crazy being a marathon swimmer, but this sounds even more crazy. And I went down and he says, right, it's all about focus, Shelley. Remember, and everybody got a pen? Pick your pens up, please. Write this one down. The most important 6 inches of your body. Ah, girls, you've got it, don't worry. The most important 6 inches of your body is the distance between your ears. And we all have the same capability with that 6 inches. How you program it, remember how I said you? You might say, oh, but you know, this person had control of me, this person made me think this made me do. No. Let's take ownership right now. Okay? If you are seriously committed to being better, who's committed to being better? Great. Oh, someone's still writing. I'll wait till she puts her hand up. Thank you. It's all about 100%, isn't it? But I'm not asking you to do it. I'm asking you, put your hand up if you can commit to the possibility of imagining being better. Okay? It's interesting, and this is where you've got to understand the power of that 6 inches. It is the most powerful tool. Look at me. I'm no different to you and I. I come back to that. But I tapped into this 6 inches. I utilised that key element of focus. I was swimming against guys faster than Grant Hackett, and I wasn't on Still Knox, faster than Grant Hackett, and who had feet bigger than Thorpe. Would you put their money on them or me? Naturally, you put it on them. I would have. But something happened out there. Something happened out there. Something happened each year. Because I was 7 years I was ranked number 1 in the world. How does someone go 7 years in a row number 1? And that's not one world championship. That's a series of races like, golf tournaments and tennis. So in that 7 years, I won 51 marathon swims. Every year I was ranked number 1. It's not a one-off like a gold medal in the Olympics. How does someone do that with nothing above average? This is the key. You're 6 inches. It's not a secret. You don't need to go and get a degree to be successful. You've got it all in you. You just need to tap into it. And you're in a room these 2 days with people that can help you tap into it and bring out your champion, your inner winner, and unleash it in Illawarra, online, globally. Who's excited about online? Okay, who's a bit fearful? Honestly, who's a bit fearful? Okay? But who gets excited that I don't have to do much once those systems are in place? All I got to do is package my product, and if you do it even better, you can package it online. You don't even have to ship anything out. Who gets excited about that? Less work, more fun, more time. Woo! Love it, okay? So you've got to understand, in your brainstem is the reticular activating system. It's faster than a Ferrari, more stylish than a Jag. It's your RAS, your reticular activating system. Doesn't sound sexy at all, does it? But you know what? If you tell yourself what you want, what's important, what's needed, it goes out there. Anybody bought a car recently or thinking about it? Do you know what kind of car you want? Have you noticed how they just pop up everywhere? The secret. It's no bloody secret. Right? What you think on, this is the power of your focus. What you put your attention on, what you focus on is what you're going to create. And here's the flip side, I'm sorry. If you focus on not what you want, guess what you're going to get? Not what you want. We always get what we focus on. You've got to be really clear. Keep it simple. Keep it simple. If you're employing staff, please make sure you use the right systems to employ staff so you don't repeat it. That relationship again, and maybe that other relationship again. I'm talking personal, right? So my sports psychologist gave me that tool to stuff my jellyfish. So I went out there and I'm on the side of the Swan River and I'm pumping this new mindset. This muscle's got to be trained, doesn't it? It's got to go to training. I'm used to going to training, but this was a hard one. And I thought, these bloody jellyfish are draining my energy. They're pulling me away from enjoying the scenery. I'm looking for them in the end. Have you noticed you start looking for your problems? Oh, I think they're just over there. And I got out there, and every time I started to get excited about my jellyfish because these were my teammates. And I'd, bang into them, put everything out, put everything back in and swim off. And then these clear blue bottles were a bit harder. I go, that was about a 5 out of 10 kiss. Oh, no, I've had worse kisses. And day by day, I didn't see them. I wasn't alone. Day by day, I got excited about being stung because I was turning a negative into a what? Positive. I was turning my fear into what? Opportunity, challenge, breaking through what could have, what? Whatever. What if? I work with triathletes, I work with marathon swimmers, I work with rugby union players, I work with AFL players, I've worked with the Manly Marlins, I've worked with rugby league, I've worked with them, and I say, what is your greatest what if? Because that's our fear, isn't it? What if I fail? What if I don't fail? What if I succeed and I've got to do it again? What if, what if, what if? So I got down there, that day of the World Championships, there were millions of friends. The sea breeze hadn't come in. All the jellyfish are laying on top of the water. All my competitors are going, oh no, it's Shelley. Oh no, I don't want to lose to Shelley. And then they're going, oh no, she's trained in it. Because see, when I was down there on the Swan River, all my competitors were going, ooh, I'll come back on race day and deal with it. I saw the Germans thumbing a ride down Mounts Bay Road with their tinny, the rubber ducky, out, because they said, oh no, we'll just go train in the swimming pool. We'll deal with it on race day. And how well do you think my competitors dealt with it on race day? What is the key word I'm talking about here? Preparation, planning. How did I become a good swimmer when I was so lousy? So they told me, and had no natural ability. I practiced. How are you going to get better in In business, you're going to practice, aren't you? You're going to keep doing, to get better, you've got to keep doing it, don't you? And I had to keep showing up. And that's all about your focus. So I decided to swim to Wollongong. Can everybody see that? Now, you've got to understand, these things are pretty regular jellyfish in Perth. Okay, they're showing up all the time. So when I swam from Sydney to Wollongong, I knew my greatest fear is sharks. Does anybody else have a fear of sharks when they're in the ocean? Oh, good, I am normal, thank goodness. And I knew, once again, I went and researched. Now, the reason I swam to Wollongong is that anybody remember Des Renford? And he was my mentor. So I'd swum the English Channel, I was in Sydney, and I just had a benign breast tumour. And this is a true story, so excuse, Des says things bluntly. Shell, how's your breasts? Actually, he said, how's your tits going? And I said, look, they're really good, Des, thanks for asking. And he goes, right, it's time. I said, what's time? He said, it's time for you to be known. I want you to swim to Wollongong. I went, okay. He said, you can break my record. Have you ever had someone come up and say, hey, you've got what it takes? And how does it feel when someone says, you know what, you're the person for this job. Yep, you can do it. How does that make you feel? Wonderful, yeah. So he's saying, hey, you can break my record. I mean, I didn't think about it being 90 kilometres. You don't actually think about what it takes at that time. You rise to the occasion. I went, yeah, I can do that. Well, that sounds okay. Oh, another record, I'd like that. And then I stood up at North Head and I looked south and I went, shit, I can't even see Wollongong. Oh, it's around there somewhere, and this was January 17, 1995. So the focus was, I didn't even have the internet. So I went to the library and I got out a book and I got a picture of all the beaches along the way. And I'm very good at visualisation because, let me tell you, I've had a lot of time out there to think about things. And so so you don't bite the elephant, what? How's the best way to eat an elephant? Small bites. So as I'm looking at it, I'm going, oh, no. So I just focused on North Head. See what I'm saying? So I went out and swam with sharks. And I hung with the right people. Now, you can see my bubbles because I've just bounced into him or her. Actually, it's a male shark. Anybody know much about sharks? Well, you'll like this, guys or girls. Bit of education. Male sharks have 2 penises. Don't know if you ever knew that. It's a true story. It's a true story because I asked him, why has he got 2 appendages? He said, all male sharks do. I didn't realise that. Anyway, so that shark's coming at me. I had another bronze whaler over here. The blue, I don't know if this blue little spot over on the dark blue, that's my coach. He's getting out because he's really scared. And there I am. Now, the reason I was hanging with the best, as I was saying, is because he had the knives and the guns. I had goggles and a swimsuit. That was it. So what was I saying before? Hang with people that have the knowledge and the skills, right? But to get in, I had to sign a form that if anything happened, they get to keep all the bits. And then to get out, I had to swim behind them. And they're the most gracious creatures, but we don't see them from that perspective, do we? I had a paradigm shift. That is the power of your focus. And today, some of you may have had some paradigm shifts about what happens. So, I've had a few jellyfish. So I want to ask you right now, what is the jellyfish in your business or career? What has popped up today that you've said, hang on a minute, oh my God, that sounds like I could never learn that skill. Is it, you know what I'm saying? Or is there something happening back at work and you said, look, if I could I feel like I'm banging my head against something. And when you're banging your head, how does it feel? It drains you, right? And the things that are stinging you and frustrating you, what are they doing? They're shifting your focus away from what you want to what you not want. They're reducing your productivity, aren't they? Draining your energy. And listen to my words, draining your energy, okay? And they're taking your focus off what you want to be doing, which is love and life and being productive and profitable. Wouldn't you agree? So right now, just write down in that spot on that form, what is your jellyfish? Number 1, the power of focus. Remember, if you focus on what you want, you'll get it. If you focus on not what you want, you'll get it. We always get what we focus on. So if you had a jellyfish right now and I said, look, it's time to embrace this jellyfish and say, hey, what is it about you And it could be a client, a customer. It might be time to say, hey, let's sever ties. Has anybody ever severed ties with a client? It's a great feeling, isn't it? It's empowering because not everybody's the perfect fit. And that took me a while to accept because I like everybody to like me. Anybody else like that? Yeah, it's a human need. We love to be liked. Okay, so I was going to make it work. Who are those people in the room? I was going to do my darndest. I wasn't going to quit on this, right? So that might be a jellyfish that you have to contend with. And it might be a staff member that you haven't had that conversation with. And I've been asked many times when I'm coaching corporates and small businesses, Shelley, could I be the jellyfish? If I just got out of my own way, then I would be a success. You know what I'm saying? We can't, in business, we can't do it all, right? You know who you are. You control freaks. And you know how I know who you are? Because I was one too. I wanted to control the boat driver and my coach and all the fans around me screaming for me, Shelley, Shelley, Shelley. I'd say to my, Nancy on my boat, Nancy, get them away. They're all drunk. But, then I watched them and I thought, oh, they're going to be in more pain tomorrow than me. Right? So write down for yourself right now, what's your jellyfish? What do you need to do to stuff and flush your jellyfish? What action are you going to take? Is it a phone call? Is it a conversation? Is it standing up for yourself? Is it taking a stand, making a stand? Is it having that meeting with someone? Is it closing that account with someone? You know what I'm saying? And if you're the jellyfish, I would definitely be saying, hey, get it sorted. Because you're wasting too much energy on it and you deserve to succeed. That's what I said to you at the start. All right? So right now, you've got 2 minutes, share your jellyfish, and I guarantee you, at your table, someone will have the same jellyfish as you. Okay, so how are your jellyfish looking? Did anybody find a solution? Raise your hand. Who got some solutions in that? Raise your hands right up. It's good to celebrate. Don't be shy. Goodness gracious. Oh, what? Put your hand up. Oh, well, it could be a happy dance. Okay. I'm not a good I'm not a good singer either, so I'm told. But anyway, I love to sing too. Karen over here has already agreed because we helped solve her jellyfish. So Karen, come on up stage. Give her a hand. Because this is the key thing. Her problem started out at one thing, and when you dig deeper, you get to the core problem, don't you? And I'm sure some of you are going to go, oh, that's me, oh, that's me, oh, that's me, okay? So I'm going to help her. How are you feeling about sharing your jellyfish? Thanks, Steve, for taking that initiative. That was my next question. I love it when people can read your mind, sometimes.
Good on you, Cameron. This is for you.
Thank you.
Okay, how are you feeling?
Okay, systems and protocols. We all know we have to have the systems and protocols in place. And it's just a matter of getting in there and doing it. So I always find I get back into the treatment room or do anything else like marketing or anything else that I can avoid putting all the systems and protocols in place because there's a lot of them.
Who can relate to that? I should have, I would have, if I could have, da-da-da, right? So this is one of her pet excuses. So we're not talking about the paperwork, are we? We're talking about what? Big P word, procrastination. Anybody here been there, done that? Here's a champ. Anybody here winning gold medals in that still? Okay. So I'm going to help you put your gold medal energy into something else in a moment. So what do you go? Because I said to Karen, okay, well, you know the problem. Okay, what is stopping you? If you know the answer, the solution, what's stopping you? And she said, and that's that excuse, isn't it? When someone starts going, I know straight away that they don't want to own it. Not necessarily own it, but admit it. You know what I'm saying? So what are you going to do about it?
Just do it.
Yay! Okay, well, you get a gold medal for your honesty and for playing it 100%. So there you go. Karen, give her a hand. So we know where that gold medal is, okay? So the key thing is it comes down to this. This is your passion pyramid. Oh, sorry about this. Okay, this is the passion pyramid. And this is your reason why. I've diverted off a bit on the worksheet, but you can go onto your blank page and draw this if you want. I'm also going to send this PowerPoint to Steve. Would everybody like that? No, I didn't hear enough encouragement. Thank you. Okay. Got to own it. I love it when you own it. Okay. How about the Blues game the other night? How about the Swannies last night? Oh, I love my sport. Oh, I love being an Aussie. Anyway, so what we're talking about right now is when you procrastinate or you put off things or you don't know where to start, it all comes down to your purpose. Oh, I did it again. I'm so sorry. I'm getting too excited. It comes down to your passion. Okay, so if you can draw your pyramid, at the bottom is your purpose. You've got a mission in your business. You've got goals. You've got dreams. Who's working on projects? Who's got some big projects happening? Okay? Scheduling and timeline. It doesn't want to go there. But anyway, you know what I'm saying? So imagine there's a triangle. Where's the strongest part of that triangle, that pyramid? The base. So the purpose, your reason why, is what's going to support your vision, going to support your mission, going to support your goals and dreams. See what I'm saying? So any time you come down to putting things off, it's not about procrastination. It's about not focusing on where your priorities lay. Some of us have a fear of saying no. Ladies are really good at it, but guys are good at it too. We can't say no. I would like you to think about what's the possibility of saying yes more rather than saying no. Sorry, saying no more rather than saying yes. Does that make sense? Okay? In the sense of saying you're changing the question around. What's it going to take for me to say yes to me more rather than no to me? Does that make sense? So I want to ask you right now is, it's the priority. What's it going to take to put yourself first? Anybody here got holidays in their diary for this year? Good. That's what I like. Who here has not planned a holiday for themselves this year? Okay, my question, write it down. Why not? Why not? I mean, okay, put your hand up if you haven't had a holiday this year and you haven't planned for one, because that's the big question, okay? And my question is, why not? Pardon? Did you say money? Really? Really? You know the number 2 things that people won't take action on is because of time and money? And guess what? It'll never be the right time, and they'll never have enough money. Because when you want something, you'll shift heaven and earth to get it. Won't you agree? Right? So my question, not so much to you, but to the answer to that question, I ask is, what has to happen for you to value yourself? Right? I'm not asking you to be arrogant. I'm just saying, if you don't take care of you, who's going to run the business tomorrow? Okay? That's why, and I'm asking you, why did you go into business? What's your reason why? And I guarantee you it has nothing to do with money. Would you agree? So what is the benefits of which is your purpose? So when you're putting things off, you need to ask yourself, you need to sit down and say, okay, what are my priorities? I've worked with small businesses and I worked with, in particular, a beauty salon, and the business owner was guilty about her child at home. I was working with her in the transformation. Her goal was to go back home and sell the business. Anybody been there? Usually it's the female, the woman. Okay, and she had the guilt. She had the guilt running the business while the kids were at home. Then we went through the guilt of selling the business and leaving, the children with the staff, right, and going back home. So, she was trying to put all these systems into place. And and some of you have heard these, the four Ds, okay? You either do it, you defer it, you delegate it, or you dump it. And she had 4 folders. I taught her that. It's really simple. I didn't learn it. I'm not the guru. I learned it off Steve Covey. He wasn't the guru. He read it in The Magic of Thinking Big, or what's the other one? What's the other book? Oh, the gentleman that wrote it in 1920-something. Yes. Yep, and earlier than that. Think and Grow Rich. So we're not all gurus in, we're the creators of these amazing simple techniques, right? We've learnt it from someone and you think, hey, I should tell someone. Why hold secrets? Share. Don't you want to be around other people who are winning? Which takes me off on a tangent, but I think it's really important right now. When I won that gold medal swim, you saw at the start when I told that story, that day, I was, in the days before, the following year. It was the following year, because I knew how to swim behind a boat. Because this was the only swim where you swam behind the boat, and it was a rowboat. right? And I'll show you a picture of that in a minute. And I took swimmers out there and I said, I'll come out with my crew. And, and I just said, oh, look, you swim behind the boat, I'll swim out here and you practice. And my boat drivers and everybody going, why are you giving away your secrets? And I always wanted it to be fair play. Who likes fair play? I didn't want to think that I won because they didn't know or they didn't know what to do. I'd rather win everything being fair. Some people like to have secrets. That's okay. This is just me. That's just the type of person I am, okay? And I learned that from people in my life who have mentored me. Like, anybody here follow AFL really, really well? Anybody? Okay, you do. So Mel Brown, I was talking about earlier, he's my godfather. And he taught me that, you help people on the way up. When I won that gold medal in the Swan River with all the jellyfish, I was a full-time school teacher at the time, and I can remember that, right? It's interesting what you remember, isn't it? So remember what people say to you. And when you think about that, when was the last time you thought about the people that have helped you and what they said? This card said, congratulations, Shelley, and all these things. And then she said, remember the people on the way up, she's going to need them on the way down. That was a 16-year-old student at school. And I thought, wow, someone shared that with her, and she felt it was really important at 16 to share it with me. And here I am at 52 still talking about it. When you get clear on what you want and what's important and what's needed, all that fluff, you know the fluff? The fluff that you fluff around with most of the time, some of the time. When that all goes clear, you get clear vision of where you want to go, what's important, so that you do what's important. And you delegate stuff that you don't want to do. Who's got stuff they do that they don't want to do? Okay, now keep your hand up if you've got stuff you do that you don't want to do that you could delegate. Control freaks, again. Right? No, I'm only teasing. But it could be, right? And I've been there. I've been there. Oh, no, I don't want to give out those passwords. Oh, no. But then I went, you know what? Trust. And how many people here have been sharing information that they've never shared before today with other people in the room? You've said things that you never thought you'd say to someone that you've only met today. And that comes to trust, because you like that person because you are like each other. Okay? So there's more people in this room that are like each other that aren't. So it's really important. What is your reason why? What is your motivation? What drives you? There's many times when I got up in the morning at Manly Beach, because I lived on Queenscliff Headland, and the birds weren't even chirping, the sun wasn't even up. The water was lucky to be 12 degrees, 13, 14, 15. The air would have been 10 if I was lucky. And, I'd look in the mirror and she'd, spit the dummy, those times. And, I'd look at her, and there's all my, I had all my goals laminated, of course, hanging from the shower, and they'd be here and they'd be there, and I'd probably have PMT, which just made it even better. And, I'd be putting the bathers on, looking in the mirror, and just, having one of those days where the jellyfish would just, and they were my jellyfish, I was creating them. And I'd rock up down at Manly Beach, and my coach, Grub, showed up, and he'd say, Shell. And he'd have the beanie on, the full wetsuit, the booties, a coffee in one hand, and then his fishing rod in the other. And he said, come on, Shell, the fish are biting, let's go. And I'd be going, Rrr. And then I'd rummage through my bag, and I had my goal there, which is your business plan, your project you're working on, your task list, what you're going to do that day, right? And I'd rummage it out, and all of a sudden, whoosh, in the zone, focused, dropped the attitude, and got on with it. And have the best training session I ever had. What drives you? Which is your purpose, right? Your reason why. What drives you when it's too cold, too hard, too, and everybody's saying you can't do it? Has anybody been there? Absolutely. Okay? Why do you want to become a marathon swimmer, Shelley? Why do you want to leave Perth to go to Sydney? Oh, you're dreaming. Oh, yes, I bloody hell was dreaming. You bet I was dreaming. And I'm sure tonight when you go home and you lay in bed or you go home and you share with your partner what you've learned today, are you going to go, oh, you'll never have any idea what, oh, this. You're going to get excited, aren't you? Because you want the passion to be mutually shared. Why? Because you want them on your team. You want them to support you, don't you? Because you're investing in you. They don't realise it's in us or the team that you're not at the office today, right? So you've got to share your goals and dreams. You've got to tell them why you're so crazy that you believe this can work. You've got to tell them why you want them on your team. Your drive is what drives everybody else to succeed as well. But you've got to show it. You've got to show it. And someone's motivation may be a fear. You know? It may be a fear. You know, the day I got out there with the jellyfish, you know, there were so many jellyfish out there. And you couldn't even put your hand through the water that day. There was millions of them. And all I could hear all day was people screaming. And I got excited. Because they had failed to prepare. And you've heard that, haven't you? Fail to prepare, you prepare to fail. Keep it simple. Love, you know, that's a quote I've heard all my life. And, you know, so, but if you are constantly in fear, what's that going to do to you? All right? You've got to get those fears sorted. So as I say, as you strive ahead, the significance of why you're not getting what you want is usually the number of reasons it's going to be easier to get what you want by facing those fears, facing those jellyfish, stuffing and flushing them. So your benefits is going to help you achieve your goals. What else is your reason why? I no longer swim. I do love the water. I do swim for my health. I don't swim, you know, to win gold medals for Australia. You know, I'm letting everybody else have a go. So down the bottom left-hand corner, has anybody ever been to Perth? Anybody ever heard of Rottnest Island? Yeah. So, you know, when I left Sydney, in 08, I only left to go back to Perth because I had a, you're going to find this not strange. You won't be surprised. But when I moved to Sydney, I had some goals. And I had a checklist. And 17 years later, I came back from Beijing when it was in the Olympics. I'd organised it. I'd been the honorary secretary for 13 years. And I went tick, 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 tick. You know the bucket list? This is why I'm coming to Sydney. I've done that, I've done that, I've done that. Okay. And I thought, right, it's time to go home to Perth. And then everybody got to Perth and they said, oh, would you help me swim to Rottnest? I'm thinking, everybody thought I was bloody crazy. And now we have 2,000 people every year swim to Rottnest. So they're my squad down there a couple of years ago, my first one. And look at them, they're so excited. That's the day before they swam. Up the top, I do charity work. Who gives back? Pays it forward. Okay, these lovely kids up the top, that was in Nepal. They all had HIV. Their parents, you know, I think they've passed. They're at a school. They have to have their own school because when they go to mainstream schools, they're just bullied because they've got HIV. Isn't it sad? Kids are so honest, so raw, aren't they? You know? And, you know, so I went there. And then the bottoms are, you probably recognise some of those faces, don't you? Please don't hate me because I'm a Manly Seagulls angel. So, not the angel, the supporter. So there's, you know, Lane Beachley, Kerry Potthast, Wendy Harmer, oh, what a cracker, and Debbie Watson, all gold medalists. And once again, champions coming together, helping other people. The real love of my life right now, I'm human. I have a man in my life. His name's Bruno. And you can see he's my virtual assistant. He virtually sits on me when I've been working too much and he said, it's more your time. So these are the things where I put my energy into now. And, you know, it helped me realise I need downtime. I go to the couch. You know, when you do too much, you need that time. So right now I want to ask you, how do you refuel? If you want to go over the page, and I want you to write down for me. Lollies, yes, lollies. And there's a motivation question there right now. I want to ask you, who inspires you? What are the qualities in people that make you want to be better? Okay, welcome back. Thanks, Steve. Good. Okay, so these are some questions that you can ask yourself. Take the time to feel your successes, celebrate your efforts and achievements. And when you go back to that moment, it might have been something that someone had said you would never be able to do because 9 times out of 10, everybody in this room would have been told you're crazy for going into business, or they would have said you're dreaming, or they, you know, something in your life. So you might have an achievement in your life. It might have been the spoon and egg race when you were 3 and you didn't drop the egg, okay? And what it does, it gives you a sense of accomplishment, rather than distracting you from what you don't want. Does that make sense? So when you think about these things, just think about what's great in life right now. You don't have to complex it. You've got too many things to learn. So does the mind need to be any more confusing? Right? I'm trying to make it more simple for you. And who are the people you're grateful for being in your life? Now, when you look at her, okay, so she's decided she's going to work till she's 70. Because she has to, right? She doesn't have to, but do you think she wants to or she has to? Having a ball, absolutely. Okay? How is she showing up? Is she ready to rumble? Does she look like she's focused? Does she look like she needs her teeth? No. Right? So she has her uniform on and she says, teeth, not a problem. They can stay at home. Okay? She's focused. She's got her uniform on. Does she have the right equipment for the job? Does she have the right attitude for the job? Yeah. Because she doesn't know what that opposition's going to be like, right? And what's the best way to annihilate your opposition? To love what you do, right? What else? Come prepared. What else? Come on, they're not hard. Pardon? Getting excited. Who loves a competition? I'd be on the shore ready to race, whether it's, swimming around Manhattan and the Statue of Liberty and I see my flag and I bawl my eyes out. Because I was excited about the opportunity I was about to dive into. I was excited about being able to do what I wanted to do with my life, being in control. You know what I'm saying? I was excited because this is what I chose. When everybody else is saying you're a bloody idiot. Okay? So how you show up with that right attitude. Who's had days when the attitude sucks? Absolutely. I've had plenty of them. Okay? I've had them. I've spat the dummy. I can tell you, the night I did my self-breast examination, I found a lump in 1994. I was going into my 7th year ranked world number 1. I rang my best friend, who happened to be my number 1 competitor, by the way. Okay? She was Canadian. I rang her and she says, go to the doctor. And so I'm ringing her like 3 in the morning, 2 in the morning, because I couldn't sleep. I didn't know. Back then, as it is now, when you find that lump or whatever's abnormal, the fear rises, right? That's a natural human emotion, isn't it? And I couldn't get into the doctor later, but I had swim training that morning. And I thought to myself, do I lay in bed and feel sorry for myself? Or do I just go and do what I do and go through the motions and distract myself? And I went to the pool, and you know what? I did personal best times I hadn't done since I was 18 years of age. How does someone do that? And the only reason how I did it, because I trained. Remember how I've been saying a lot today? How? Not why. How? How is a technique, a tool, a strategy that you've been getting shared, many of them today when you're group, and you're going to be getting a lot of them tomorrow. They're lessons. So I knew if I just train hard, I'd be able to focus. And I did PBs that day that I hadn't done in the swimming since I was 18. Because I said to myself, and this is what I used to do every time I showed up the pool. I say, at training, if I don't give it my best, someone else is coming in somewhere around the world, my competitor's training, and they're giving it their best. So I thought, well, this could be my last day. Why don't I train like it's my last day? And we never know what tomorrow's going to bring, right? And I love swimming, so I said, hey. When I was diagnosed with scoliosis, and I was in the back brace, and that's why my spine was all skew from my leg and everything. And my mum used to put her foot in the middle of the back and strap me in. And, that was the only time I got to take it off was going swimming. I used to go swimming and saying, right, this is fantastic. This is what I love to do. So when I stood on the shore and all my competitors were going, oh no, oh no, oh no, oh no, oh no. But see, my last race was 36 years of age. I'm in Fukuoka, Japan. Say that after a few beers tonight. And we were in a room like this, I'm in the media conference, And I just turned 36 that week because I was actually on the plane going over to Fukuoka. And my coach was standing next to me, and I had the program. Studio, all the athletes were there, doing the briefing, the media were there, and I'm looking at it, and I've got the list. My competitors are getting younger, Grub. Grub was standing next to me. I said, my oldest competitor's 18. He said, but they don't have your experience. And I went back to my room that night, and I'm psyching myself, as you would imagine, and I'm looking in the mirror, and I'm going, come on, girl, you're going to have to pull it all out tomorrow. And there'd been a typhoon, by the way, and they deferred the race for 48 hours, and they're waiting it from going 3 metre swell down to 1 metre, and the wind to die down as well. And I'm looking in the mirror, and I'm going, oh, you know, they're getting a bit younger. And she looked back at me, and she said, these lines stand for years of experience. And I'm looking around the room, and there's a bit of experience in this room. So when you connect with you in the mirror, and whether it's here, what do you see? What do you focus on? That allows you to go out there on those days and champion it. You know, your attitude, when it's on, isn't it? And the thing to do is when it's off, how are you going to flick the switch? How are you going to flick it? And my dad died when I was young, and I don't know about anybody had a catastrophe in their life and you took a detour. Anybody taken detours here in their life and you've come back on track now? Yeah, you can relate to it. And, you know, I was a goody two-shoes at school, you know. I did everything right. Oh, my poor sister, you know, lived in my shadow, you know. And her name's Liz Taylor, but, you know, I'm the famous one in the family, evidently. And my sister, you know, used to get at school, you know, why can't you just be like your sister, you know? But Dad died when I was 15, and he was a good man, a good cop. And I went off the rails, and I hung out with the wrong people. And I took up some habits which weren't very nice, like smoking. My dad had died of lung cancer. What a bloody idiot I was, okay? We make silly choices sometimes, don't we? We make mistakes. We're only human. And you could find me in a shopping centre car park, and I know some of you girls and boys have done this, where they used to do the drags, you know what I'm talking about? The ones with the experience in the room here know what I'm talking about. And they'd be doing the drags up and down in the car park and showing off their cars and everything. And I just had a car accident. I'm now in a back brace and a body brace, neck brace and body brace because of my back. I'm wearing the white T-shirt, you know, when it was so tight. And then I had my Winnie Blues tucked in here because that was really cool. And I'm in the car park at the shopping centre, and I'm sucking on my Winnie Blue. Don't worry, I had my VB in the other hand because that was really cool when I hung around with the cool people. And this girl came up to me, and she said, are you Shelley Taylor? And I went, who wants to know? She goes, I used to swim with you. And I said, oh, really? She goes, we thought you were the one that was going to go all the way to the top. Why'd you quit swimming? I said, more to life than swimming. I was such a bitch. But you do that when you hang out with your cool friends, don't you? You change, don't you? And she said, no, we thought, even though you're wonky back, but you used to drive us nuts in swimming because you were the perfectionist. And she said, you know, we'd sit out the main set in the toilets because they'd run in and, you know, have hot showers, you know. And, you know, you'd be there, you'd tumble turn us on us if you were on the square. And she said, but, you know, you loved it so much. We all had bets you were going to go all the way. And I said, no, you're dreaming, you got the wrong person. And 4 years later, after that car accident, I'm at the swimming pool. I'm with the coach that I asked to stay behind with me, right? And I'm on the other side of the pool because guess what I had to do for rehabilitation? Swimming. And I used to lay in bed and go, you know, you're up there, you suck big time. I was really angry at the world. And I quit swimming because that really irritated my mother even more. We were like this, because she lost her soulmate, I lost my hero, my dad. And I'm at the pool and my coach comes, hey, Shell, come over and swim with us. I said, no, I'm just doing my laps and getting out. He goes, no. 6 weeks later, he says, hey, Shell, you're not looking bad. We've got state championships coming up and we need someone in the relay. And I went, well, look, you know, I've been out of the water 2.5 years. And he says, no. He said, doesn't matter. You know, we just need you for the relay, be really good. And I thought, okay, this is a guy that stayed behind with me. It's time to pay back. A few weeks later, he says, Shell, there's some other races. And I went, he goes, it doesn't matter if you come last, you get a point. The 400 freestyle, the 800 freestyle, the 1500 freestyle, and the 200 backstroke. 10 weeks training, 2.5 years out, I won 7 gold medals. 4 individuals and 3. And all of a sudden I went, you know what, maybe I do have a bit of ability. Maybe I do have what it takes. So you know all that hard work, that experience stands for something, right? So even if you're in a new business and you're learning a new skill, okay, you can transfer that experience and those gold medal moments and achievements into where you are right now. Are you aware of that? I thought to myself, I've done it there, I can do it again. Fast forward, I'm in University of Arkansas where I got a swimming scholarship after I won all those gold medals. I'm laying in hospital. I'm paralysed from the waist down. I'm rotating like a chicken on a spit, if that gives you the image. And I would see the ceiling, the wall, the floor, the wall, and I would just rotate like that. And the doctor would come by and he'd scrape the bottom of my feet and there'd be no reaction. And I'd be laying there going, what did I do? You suck big time, again. And a voice came inside my head, and it was my dad. He said, get back up. You're an Aussie. You're not a quitter. How much do you want to walk? How much do you want to swim? You've swum before. You've walked again. Who knows you better than you? No one knows you better than you, Shelley. You're an Aussie. You're not a quitter. Get up. Get over it. Get on with it. One of my favourite quotes. Get up. Get over it and get on with it. The doctor's looking at me and I said, don't tell me I'm not going to walk again or swim again. I'm an Aussie and I don't quit. And he looked at me and said, don't get your hopes up. Evidently that's risk management. Let me tell you, when I was down there in the depths of despair, because we go there, don't we? It doesn't have to be, remember, it's your despair. No one else has to relate to it. This is when you learn what you're made of. This is when the quality of who you are. And as I was laying there, and everything's being wasted away, and I've lost control, there's one thing they can't take away from you. It's your passion. Your desire, which is connected to that mindset I'm talking about, that 6 inches, which is connected to your attitude. And I had to say, and I know it sounds very flippant, but if it is to be, it's going to have to be up to me. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, who's driving this bus? Me. Who's going to be in charge of this? Me. If everybody else wants to quit and I'm left on my own, fine, but I wasn't. My best friend, who's my best friend today, looked at me and held my hand and said, and the tears are pouring down, and she says, I'll help you walk again. I'll help you get back up. And I fell over a lot, and I still fall over today. But I'm walking. You never understand someone's pain because you're not literally walking in their shoes, are you? See, with my back injury, that's how I was born. To be told I'm disabled, that's just doesn't mean anything to me. So someone to say you're dreaming, that doesn't mean anything to me. When you're ready to rumble and you show up, what is it that you do? What are the rituals that make you succeed? I slept with my bathers on. It must have worked. I showed up every day. It must have worked. I trained every day. It must have worked. Because these rituals guarantee you success at the end of the day, don't they? What do you do? It might be different to someone else. What do you do day in and day out when you're down there in the gutter and you need to pull something out of the bag? You've got to go back to yourself. Why do they do the haka? Okay, where are the Kiwis in the room that we've let in? Oh, of course they're up the back of the room. Why do they do the haka? Could someone just give him a mic? You got the mic there, Steve? Thanks. Because this is really important. Why do they do the haka?
For the competition. They do it for themselves and they do it for the competition.
Okay. Why? What purpose? Why is it important to do the haka?
It's a show of strength.
Yeah? What else?
It's a challenge.
It's a challenge, okay? So what do you think that, and they do this before a competition, or it's a tribal thing as well, isn't it?
Yeah. Before you go on to onto a par, then the challenge is given, and people accept the challenge or not.
Yeah. So I want to ask you a question because you're a Kiwi. Have you ever seen half a haka?
Only by my kids.
But they're giving 100%, aren't they?
They're giving 100% for 50%.
They're doing the haka, how they, right? Has anybody watched when the Kiwis in whatever sport do the haka? Is there anybody here that's been moved by the haka? And, you know, that's what I'm saying. They don't do that because it doesn't work. They don't do that because it doesn't motivate them. They don't do it because, it doesn't create team strength and unity. You know what I'm saying? This is what I'm asking you. What do you do? What are your rituals? You know, when I got my first kit, do you think it was the first time I got my first kit? Australian tracksuit and everything? Do you think it might have been, oh, that's a nice thing? I never imagined. I imagined many times. And this is where your self-belief is so important. And you need to sit down and say, what do I do that other people think you're crazy? You know what I'm saying? Do you listen to music? Who here loves music? Who gets excited when they hear music? Who wants to do the happy dance when they hear the happy dance? You know? We listen to things, do things because what? It makes us happy. We're here to be happy. We're here to succeed. And you need to unleash that inner winner in you. And this is your homework for tonight or tomorrow. You need to ask yourself, where do you excel? What are you hot at? You know, when you look in the mirror, you go, hey, you sexy thing. Or you go, oh, no, God, not you. Oh, no. Oh, and you and me all day, I can't. Well, wait till it's over. Right? Because it's not what you do they buy. You know that, don't you? It's not what you do. It's you they buy. And when you're on fire, or on whatever that was, okay, when you're on it, when you're on, how easy is it to sell? How easy is it to just power through your day effortlessly, isn't it? How easy is it just to smile? And have you ever noticed you can do more? You're actually more productive. And have you ever noticed how it becomes contagious? Now, I was in a lift once, and I'm in a lift quite a bit. And when I lived in Sydney, you know when you had to pay to go over the toll? And I remember one day the guy said, oh, was it an RDO? I said, no, I'm off to work. He said, you can't be, you're smiling. I got in the lift and the guy said to me, hey, is what you're on legal? Where do I get it? Is it free? I said, it's free. It's inside you. Do you get it? You've got to get your champion mindset, your gold medal moments of you becoming a champion whenever they were. It doesn't matter what age you, okay? So just for today, what are you going to commit to before I finish up? Write down for me one thing we've talked about, one thing anybody's talked about. What are you going to commit to? What's one thing you can do? Even if you need to come up to me and say, hey, Shelley, I need to stuff and flush my self-doubt. I'm going to stuff and flush that phone in a moment. Teasing. Someone's going to be donating to my favourite charity, Amex. So it comes down to self-belief. Now, I know there's some people in here, as I said before, that have got some projects. I know there might be more than one of you. And so I'm happy for you to take me to breakfast tomorrow morning. If you want to sit down with me and just say, hey, Shell, I need some help. I don't know who you are, but if you want to come up to me at dinner, come up to me tomorrow. My contact details are there, but if you want to have brekkie with me tomorrow and let's, launch this for you and get it going, I'll be happy to hear from you. So here's your mental toughness.
That was us coming out of Thailand.
Yes, that wasn't. Yes, we'll tell that story later on, after a few beers. So there's Nancy. Okay? There's the boat. There's me, little old me. Okay? There's my two rowers. One was studying to be a doctor, the other one studying to be a dentist. That thing weighs 2 tonne. You know how much they got paid to row 35k? Half of it against the tide. $50. Now, I love getting people on my team because I realise when you're on my team, we've got a good chance of having a great day, right? And I'm not saying winning, because winning to me is achieving your goals, okay? And I went up to him and I said, what do you drink? You ever notice how that works with people? I do it with I get the milk delivered, I get it with my garbos that take my bin, which they have to, but I like to think I value them. I let people know I value people. That year is that the year I won, okay? And I came across the line, winning by 59 seconds. I came back the following year, guess what? Repeat, first overall, broke my record. Oh, that's right, the newspaper on the front page said, fluke. The next year said, I had a good day. Third year I came back and I got third. And the newspaper said Shelley failed. I got first female. But it's really interesting, isn't it? But they said, hey, we'll be on your team. Now, Nancy is a chain smoker. And she sat in that position. And the first thing she used to say to me is, when I get off the boat, you know where I want to go. I want to go have a pee and I want to have a cigarette. Okay? But that's your resilience is to bounce back. So that moment when I'm down there and I'm thinking that I'm not going to be walking again, I'm down there in that moment is when I realised what I was made of. 2 weeks before this swim, I passed out unconscious in a swim in Quebec in Canada. To even put it up another level, I'm representing my country. My coach saves my life. I'm laying in hospital again. And this time I'm suffering with hypothermia. I wake up. I don't know what's going on. The swimmer next to me who got out also, or something happened to her, she turns to me and says, oh, Shell, it's good to see you're human after all. Wasn't happy with that comment. And then her coach said, doesn't matter, Shelley, you can swim again. I felt like a failure. You know those moments? I've had fear. I've failed. And I laid there and I sulked. And then I just was frozen with fear, like, oh my God, I've got to swim in 2 weeks. How am I going to do that? And I had to face the media. I thought I'd never represent Australia again. This is 1991. And I had 3 more years where I got to number 1. But in that moment, when I came across that finish line, I wasn't thinking about winning. I was thinking about 2 weeks before when I had my greatest failure in my life and how Shelley Taylor-Smith, the character, the person, is the person that got it to the starting line. So you imagine when I came across the finish line and I won by 59 seconds, everybody else was shaking their head in disbelief, and I was just in awe of my true being. Not what I've done, because you'll notice I'm not being arrogant about it, but that's how capable each and every one of you are. Have you realised that? Remember I said in the beginning, and I'll say it again, I'm no different to you. We all have challenges in business. And I'm going to challenge you now, take action on them. If you sit there and have a little pity party, I will allow it, because we're human. But the more you sit in it, guess what? It's going to be harder to get back up, isn't it? What were you told when you fell off your bike? Get back on. It's that simple. If you can't get back on your bike, get help. Amazing people in this room, and you're going to hear from one tomorrow morning as well. If you haven't heard the Steve Jobs story, you know, changed the world. And you know a lot of other people in Australian business that have done the same, right? We've all got a pet excuse. Some of it's fear, as I said. Let's get rid of it. Start the attitude. And who's going to dive in with me tomorrow? At breakfast, if you want. But if I said right now, the possibility of jumping off this cliff, and in there below was Stephen, whether it's the VIP program or, you know, whatever programs you're going to learn about, what's it going to take that step? Because it's the unknown, isn't it? I'm asking you, what's it going to take to step over out of your comfort zone? Who wants this many fans? Who wants this many customers? Who said that? Who would be overwhelmed with customers, this many customers coming to the door? You just need more staff, more systems, better systems, right? Okay? I'm here to tell you, when you know how to do something, people will rock up. But it's how you show up that's going to rock the world, okay? As I was saying. You're going to have fans getting excited. They're going to be talking about you. How exciting is that? And that team spirit, you're in a room full of people that have got knowledge, but not so much that who's really grateful? Who would say on their team right now is Steve Dixon and all his wonderful team? Put your hands up. Okay? And I'm not being paid to be here, remember? I've flown from Perth because I like to pay it forward. The only reason I got to succeed was people supporting me. So when I stand here and share about Stephen, it's because he valued me and my time to say, would you come to the conference, the 2 days? Plus it was Wollongong, so I knew what I'd be looking at, okay? So I want to ask you right now, who do you need to contact? Who do you need to rub shoulders with? Have you got some ideas? Have you got some ideas? Yes. Boy, it's like pulling teeth at this time of night. Okay, I want you to imagine. You going to with me? Okay. I want you to imagine a beer, a glass of wine, whatever is your favourite. Can you imagine that? A smile would do it. That's better. Okay. So, I'm telling you, if you take action on these 2 days, you'll be able to do it. I know I keep saying, and you're probably saying you don't know me. I know people that have done amazing things with setbacks, right? Why? There's no different to you. This is what I'm about. Isn't he beautiful? May I have 5, Steve? Do you mind if I have 5 minutes, guys? 5? If I say 5, is that okay? Thank you. You've been really generous with your time. So this little boy, now when I go to schools, and I used to go to schools many times ago, I hand out my medal and they go, that's not a gold medal, that's silver. And I go, but the gold's rubbed off. And that's what I'm about, is sharing the knowledge. And nothing gives me greater pleasure when I share knowledge and people take action on it. And that's called respect. Because all of you are going to get knowledge in these 2 days. And when you take action on it, that's respect. It's amazing, isn't it? And that's what I'm about, is just sharing the knowledge. So there I was. It's a thing that's happening. If you want to come get some products off of me today, I've got all that going. So there I was, 2 kilometres from the finish. 2 kilometres. And all my school children, I was a full-time school teacher at one time. I had no sponsorship, remember, for 6 of my 7 years, ranked number 1. So I'm a full-time school teacher. They're all on the side of the river. They've all got the green and gold zinc on. The flags are flying. The signs are everywhere. Go well, go Shell. Don't worry, on my This Is Your Life, my Nana said I saw it on a sign somewhere. And I said, Nana, that was the Shell service station. Gotta love you, Nana. They're singing Waltzing Matilda. Nancy's giving me my last drink. She's hanging out of the tinny in an Australian tracksuit, singing Waltzing Matilda, or attempting, with tears running down her eyes, giving me my last drink. I take it. She says, Shell, I can hear them. I can see them. The gold medal's yours. And in that moment, all my friends, the jellyfish, are bobbing up and down around me. I'm winning by about 4 minutes, 5 minutes. And a voice comes inside my head, and it's my dad. On the day that was my last words with him, and he said, come here, come here. And I was, the tears were flowing. One day you're going to win a world champion. One day you're going to be a world champion. You're going to win a gold medal and represent Australia. Now get out there, girl. Get up, get over it, get on with it, make it happen. And as I came through the finish line, I fulfilled someone's belief in me at 29 years of age. I'm telling you right now, each and every one of you right now have that champion mindset. And I guarantee you, 100% money back guarantee, that if you don't quit, you will make it. Thanks for having me.
What about a standing ovation for Shelley, guys? Would you like to get up? She is a world champion and one of my heroes. Wow, that was amazing. That was even better the second time. Oh, thank you so much. Has anybody got any questions for Shelley about her journey and about just that mental strength? Tell me I can't, and I'll show you I will. Is there any questions? Yeah, Johnny Vines. Johnny's actually made it very, very clear. Would you like to stand up, Johnny?
Hi, Johnny.
Johnny's one of our VIP guys. He's actually said to all of our group that he will be a world champion wakeboarder.
Awesome.
My question for you is, what time for breakfast?
What are you doing tonight? No. Sorry, I'm very cheeky nowadays. Whatever time you want it.
We'll organise it. We'll organise
whatever time you want it. And you know what? I love that question. Do you get that question? That's someone that's ready to go. Do you get that? And I'm not saying all the rest of you don't, because I know where you want to go. And the thing is that that's exciting. I'm really excited by taking ownership, and in the sense of just, right now I'm going to give you that session tomorrow morning, but also I'm going to give you my CD set, which is valued at $600. So give your hands to John.
Johnny.
Because I really value people that, you know, want to go for gold. And I'm talking about your gold, guys. Remember? Your gold. And if anybody's interested, I've only brought 10 sets with me. If you want to get the CD set, if you want to get a book, I've got some there. Happy to sign them. Free postage and handling for these 2 days. So otherwise, on your sheet in the book, there's a link there where you can purchase them and you get 25% off. So that's my gift to you for being here this time. I want to give value back to you. So we'll talk, Johnny, and mwah.
Thank you very much, Shelley. That's very gracious as well. So thank you very much.